Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, love the show. Quick question. Do you see any scenario where Jed Wills is not the starting left tackle this season? Not that I mind. I just was curious, because I felt like Christian played well last year. And then secondly, they signed all the running backs in the offseason. Why do they continue to not bring back Kareem Hunt? I mean, they brought in Foreman. He's basically an older version of Kareem Hunt. Like, they are both run with, bad intentions and run strong in the hole, but I feel like they're the same back, just he's a little bit older maybe. I'm just curious as to why he had a great season with the Browns and they continue to not bring him back. Just want to hear your thoughts. Go Browns. Hoo, 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 hoo.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Fred, I don't think unless Jedrick Wills is hurt, I think Jedrick Wills will be the starting left tackle unless he can't come back from the injury. Relative to Kareem Hunt, I think that was a mutual. I don't think Kareem Hunt really wanted to come back. And I believe Foreman's actually a little younger than Hunt is as well.
Yeah, on Jedrick Wills, I mean, they picked up his fifth-year option. I believe it's 15 million, and that 13 to 15 million for this year. You don't pay a guy that and have him sit on the bench. The only scenario that I would see him not starting would be if they decided to move DeJuan Jones to left tackle and that Jack Conklin is coming back to be the right tackle, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I know there's a lot of talk about Jedrick Wills and a lot of fans aren't happy with him, but the Browns continually stand behind him. They picked up the option. They would have to trade him, to move on, but they would have to have another suitor pick up that option and somebody that really wanted to extend him, or the Browns would have to eat a lot of the contract, kind of like they did with Baker Mayfield when they traded him to Carolina. So he's the starting tackle this year, and they could still move on from him and decide not to sign him to a long-term extension. But I think that they are proceeding with him. The only scenario again would be is they signed a couple 1 year veteran guys to back up at tackle, but I think that he's your left tackle. As far as Kareem Hunt, yeah, he had 11 touchdowns, 9 regular season, 2 in the playoffs, short yardage back. They gave him the ball down when they were near the goal line, but you have to look at his numbers last year. He averaged 3.0 yards per carry. That might have been the lowest of his career. And he is still available. Last year, nobody signed him, and he was still available when Nick Chubb got hurt, and he came right in. He was a nice fit. Um, you're right. The Dante Foreman was his replacement. He's a short yardage back. He's a smaller or a younger version, and they think he can do that 1 year deal. I think signing Hines and Foreman to 1 year deals is kind of a bodes well that they feel Chubb, has a future here with the Browns. They redid his contract, gave him a lot of incentives, and one of the writers on our staff said that points to Chubb being better earlier than later because he took a $10 million cut in pay. Obviously, the money wasn't guaranteed, but with incentives turned back. And he pointed out almost all of them are attainable if he plays the majority of the season, as early as the first 4 weeks. And he probably or his agent wouldn't have let him sign that if they didn't feel those were attainable. I've been told that Chubb's goal is to be ready for the first week. But no matter what he says, I still think the Browns would probably err and hold him out at least of the first few weeks, even if he's ready. But it's a lot of speculation. I mean, he was at the golf tournament. Guys I talked to said he's walking around, and so forth, but it's a big difference being ready to play. And so I think it's optimistic. I think that they were happy with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong and Kareem Hunt. You replaced Kareem Hunt with Naeem Hines and Dante Foreman. So right now you have a more of a pass catching running back and a between the tackle running back. So I think between those two, that's your replacement of Kareem Hunt. And if you have more injuries, Kareem Hunt is still available.
Yeah,
And I looked at the list, and there was still some pretty notable names available. And I think a lot of those guys are waiting to see what happens in training camp with a lot of positions. I've said this roster is not finished. There's going to be injuries, and Shelby Harris turned out to be the best defensive tackle maybe on the team last year, and he didn't come in till the third week of training camp last year.
and I'm told Hunt and Foreman are basically 28, so they're basically the same age.